The time is now 5:30. The date is December the 19th, 2023. We'll call to order the meeting of Mayor and Council for the City of Statesboro. We'll have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilmember John Riggs.
I'd like to ask Alan Muldrew if he'll give us a blessing today. Reason for the season, please.
Alan, if you will.
Mr. Alan, if you will.
All right. Let us pray. Lord, as a Christian and in this Christmas season, I'm reminded of your words where you said to Joseph, "Do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for that which has been conceived in her is by the Holy Spirit. And she shall bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, Emmanuel. For it is he who will save his people from their sins." And Lord, as you have shown kindness and love to us, may we share that same loving kindness to those around us in this Christmas season. I pray that you would bless our elected officials and leaders with wisdom and understanding as they work to serve our community. May your redeeming light shine during this Christmas season. I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move down to agenda item 3, which has 3 subsets. Agenda item 3A is a presentation of a retirement award to Mr. Keith Perkins at the Water and Sewer Superintendent, who is retiring effectively January the 1st, 2024, after 36 years of service. Mr. Perkins is not able to be with us tonight, but we want to extend our gratitude to him and his entire family and co-workers that's been with him along this journey. 36 years is a very long time, but it does show an individual's loyalty and dedication to not just serving the organization, but serving the community at large. So we want to thank him for after 36 years. So let's give him a round of applause. We'll move down to agenda item 3B, which is a presentation of a certificate of appreciation to Councilmember Venus Mack for her dedicated service to the City of Statesboro. Now, this is a bittersweet moment for me. I take it personal, and I take it personal when we've worked and we've served up here. But Venus, I want to read aloud what the certificate says, then we're going to go down. Yeah, I'm going to try not to cry. I'm going to try not to. The City of Statesboro Certificate of Appreciation is hereby presented to Venus Mack in recognition and appreciation of her dedicated service and commitment to the citizens of District 3, and to the City of Statesboro. Our best wishes to you for happiness and success in your future. And I'm going to take a point of privilege to say this right here. When Ms. Mack was elected in 2019, there was a lot of things that we wanted to get done as an organization as we've laid out a vision for the city in its entirety. And I want to say that through her hard work and the hard work of the council members up here as a whole, in the past 4 years, if you can't see anything else, you can see that this city has gone through a heck of a lot of change. We've got new parks, we got a new bus system, we got infrastructure going up all around the city. We've seen new business districts created. We have seen a lot of growth within this city. And what I want to say to Councilmember Mack, thank you so much for having the courage to put your name on the ballot and being able to serve. In your tenure, I know it has not been easy, and that extends to everyone else that's on this council, because if you let social media tell it, we have no idea, and we've studied nothing about any of the progress that we're making within this community. But we're going to tell you, it takes a lot more than first and third Tuesday meetings to make the decisions that the city is making, and the sacrifice that you made, not just as an individual, but with your family, your friends, your loved ones. It takes a lot of sacrifice. So have the courage, for you to have the courage and the loyalty and the character to step up to serve, we want to say thank you. Okay? Thank you. And family, we're gonna need y'all to get ready. Now, we're gonna take a quick shot and then we're gonna need y'all to come on up, okay? Good to see you. You want, Lane, this is where you do your part? Okay. Are we centered?
Yep.
You tall today, Vince.
Ready, 1, 2, 3.
So, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Take one more. 1, 2, 3. I think Mayor might have blinked on that one more.
Yeah, I did, I know I did.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Okay,
So we
I
want
made it
the
through that?
council.
Yeah, council. And Mayor Pro Tem, we're gonna have you grab this side here. Yeah, I'm gonna have one of the ladies, because we know for the past 4 years, the fellas had nothing to do with anything. It's all about the ladies.
Councilman Boyle, if we have you in the middle.
Okay.
Who, me?
Because he's the tallest. Yeah.
Yep,
Here,
Councilor Riggs
Charles.
on that corner right
You're
there.
taller than I am.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
me
can
and John
everyone
catch the
take
wings.
one step
This
this
way?
way? Yep. Okay. Mr. Payne, can you move that way just a bit? Actually, try the other side of Sherry.
We're shifting? That way.
Yeah, she talking to
I
Mr.
think we're
Perry.
good there.
Is that it?
Back on the other side of Sherry. I'm sorry, she's just a little bit taller. Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. And then Councilman Boyle, you step in just, yep. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
3, and 1, 2, 3.
Okay. All right, family. Uh-oh. Venus part 2 over here.
Uneven number here. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, again, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. So very proud.
Speech. I did write something. I was gonna wait till the end, but I will put down. Statesboro, thank you for granting me the privilege to serve. Making history and serving on council is one of my greatest accomplishments. The legacy I have created not only makes me proud, but it makes my family and our community proud. It lets the generation under me know that anything is possible with hard work and dedication. To the incredible staff, thank you for your dedication. You have been the cornerstone of our progress over the last 4 years. To the mayor, thank you for your leadership and support. I would not be sitting in this seat if it was not for you. I'm not gonna cry.
We trying to stay strong, man. We gonna make it.
To my council sisters, together we made history. We redefined what local government stands for and what it can achieve. To the rest of the council, your perseverance and dedication to our town is commendable. I can't wait to see how you guys continue to make Statesboro a place to live, work, and play. Serving in this capacity is no easy task. Remember, greatness is within the reach. Statesboro is counting on you. Again, thank you, Statesboro, for your support and your belief in our vision. Let's continue to keep pushing the boundaries. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, there is, even though as a council, we may go back and forth, there's a fraternity and sorority feeling up here in the sense that, you know, we know what it takes. Working with this staff, working to represent the community, doing what's best in difficult situations, that creates a bond amongst us. And with that being said, Venus, thank you for the service. And you know, text me, call me, whatever you need. You know, the family, y'all already know. Y'all need me for anything, let me know. And I think if I say that on behalf of the entire council, I think everyone would agree on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll move down to another part, and this is another part where we mentioned there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to serve in this capacity. And tonight we want to recognize two of our great council members. The first one is going to be a presentation of a certificate of achievement from the Georgia Municipal Association to Mayor Pro Tem Sherry Barr for her completion of 72 hours of training. So Councilmember Barr, hey, that hard work pays off. And I think Pam is in the building somewhere. Where's Pam? There she goes.
Yes.
Pam, if you will.
Yes, and I just want to say that I commend Mayor Pro Tem Barr because it is a dedication, and having the opportunity to further your knowledge and your professional development by increasing your knowledge about government is important, as you know. I know you've learned a lot through taking the courses, and we appreciate your dedication and being on board with the education of the GMA and the Carl Vinson Institute of Government. So you have completed your 72 hours of credit, which gives you a certificate of achievement. This includes 36 hours from a required list of classes, and we have over 70 classes, so we hope that you will continue with your education and be sure to reach for the next level of your achievement, okay?
Thank you. Signed up for January.
Great.
There we go.
Great.
One, two, three. One, two, three.
I really felt the urge to photo bomb now.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Sharon.
Thank you.
Our next presentation is a presentation of certificate of dedication from the Georgia Municipal Association to Councilmember Phil Boyle for his completion of 276 hours of training. Phil is legendary in the training world. So we definitely want to give him his accolades for all of the hard work he's put in.
As well as being on our training board,
Yes.
and being responsible for actually creating and helping to approve some of those classes that we so hope that everybody will continue to take. Phil, I'd like to present you with your certificate of dedication. It's a milestone. I mean, a very hard milestone that you have accomplished. 276 hours.
Yes.
Thank you for being on the training board, for all the work, because even with like elected officials, it's not enough for you. then we, we use you for all the committees and the boards that we can, so we appreciate all of your dedication and work that you have done for GMA.
Absolutely.
Okay?
I wear my education jacket today.
So we have a certificate and a thing. There we
Let's
go.
get all of it.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
1, 2, 3. One, two, three.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, one more, Pam.
Okay.
See you later.
Ms. Payne, there's 500 municipalities.
537.
537 different municipalities in Georgia,
Yes.
including as many mayors and times 5 at least, city council people. Who have you ever seen with the most hours of training?
It's gonna be Fred or somebody like that.
276. Who?
I don't know that for our
That's
district,
gotta be one of these guys with 38, 39 years of service, so.
and we do
I got a
have,
long ways to go.
we do have a lot, but for this district,
Yeah.
I believe Phil Thompson.
There we go.
Yes.
District 12.
District 12.
Stay strong,
Yes.
represent.
Yes.
Brandon,
So I hope you'll continue with training opportunities that we provide.
Yeah.
thank you for coming down.
Yeah.
Safe travel.
Absolutely.
Happy holidays, Pam.
Thanks,
And,
Pam.
and I just, I kind of want to have a moment of transparency, for everyone that's in the room. The Georgia Municipal Association is the body that, 537 of our cities are a part of. And our training is in partnership with the University of Georgia's Carl Vinson Institute. So these are very talented individuals that's coming in and providing the training for us. And Phil is being a leader on the training aspect on the municipal side. So it's a lot of hard work that actually goes into it. So, again, one thing I pride, not just this council, but this entire staff and organization, is that we work from fact based on the best practices, whether it relates to training, municipal governing, and daily operations. So we pride ourselves on that, and we definitely appreciate Phil leading the way for our training and all of that goes. And in a few years, we're gonna see Sherry up there with the same number of hours, so.
And Mr. Mayor, if I may, as much as it hurts me to praise the University of Georgia.
Yeah, I know, right? And I'm surprised people ain't walk out.
That's the Carl Vinson Institute in conjunction with GMA is actually that training program. You don't find that in most states.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, Mr. Penny, did you guys have anything like that in North Carolina?
School government.
Okay, the school government, there you go.
Yeah.
So not every state in the country has this,
Mm-hmm.
and we, the state gets looked at by a lot of other states
Mhm.
for their program. And so, kudos to GMA and Carl Vinson for providing a program, and for the state representatives who made this a law. It's one of the few states where it's mandatory that we do this, so.
Absolutely. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Pam.
All right. Next we have public comments. Leah, do we have anyone signed up for public comments?
No, Mayor.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 5, which is consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda, which is approval of minutes for our December the 5th council minutes, as well as our work session. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 6, which is the public hearing. In consideration of a motion to approve application RZ 23-1101. Danny Jones requests a zoning map amendment from the PUD MX Plan Unit Development Mixed Use Zoning District to the R2 Townhouse Residential Zoning District on approximately 2.63 acres of property located on Gentilly Road. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kathy, if you will you give us some insight on this?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Currently, the property is a vacant wooded lot located on Gentilly Road, wedged between some commercial uses and single-family residential development. This property was originally zoned as a PUD to connect the adjacent commercial for a mix of office uses and residential, but that plan has since been abandoned. At the request of staff, the applicant has reoriented the development to ensure additional space between the higher density housing and the northern detached single-family housing, which does deviate from the preliminary plan seen in the council packet. So we did ask the developer to work with us to provide, to sort of flip the development so that the townhomes were against the commercial area, and the open space would be against the residential area. And so he worked with us very well, and he was able to accommodate that. So that's why there is a change in the plan. And so you'll see the parcel on Gentilly Road. It's right across from the YMCA. The parcel, the future land use map shows it to be half in the activity center, regional, and the other half in an established residential neighborhood. The current zoning map shows the previous zoning, which was a PUD/MX. And the subject property is shown on the top left. The property to the north is shown on the bottom right. The property to the south is shown on the top left, and the property to the east on the bottom right. And here is the site plan, and you can see how we have transposed it so that the open space and the detention pond is closer to the residential neighborhood, and the townhomes are closer now to the commercial area. Staff does recommend approval, RZ 23-11-01. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of the zoning map amendment does not grant the right to develop on the site without approval. All construction must be approved by the city. 2, the applicant must observe general Georgia Department of Transportation metrics. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on December 5th, 2023, the commission recommended approval of the request and staff conditions upon a 6-0 vote, with the addition of the following condition. 1, that the applicant will ensure additional buffering to be provided to the northern property with fencing. That is my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy. Is there anyone here that wants to speak for this request?
I'd like to make a couple of comments. My name is Arthur Sparks. My property,
You're right there on Simmons Road, aren't you?
yeah, I'm on Simmons Road, and the back part of my property, almost 300 feet, is adjacent to this. It's 298.24 to be exact, but it's along there. I am not opposed to this, but I do have some concerns I just wanted you to be aware of. First, let me mention that Russell Jones has met with me twice, and we have walked over the property, and I have discussed my concerns with him, and he understood my concerns, and we have come to a basic agreement. And Russell, this is what I sent you yesterday.
Yeah, we can take care of that. Thank you.
As I say, I am not opposed to the development. I had just 3 major concerns. I was concerned about protecting my property from the development, and I had 3 basic concerns. One was an adequate buffer Another was a privacy fence, and then there was the consideration of drainage. As I said, Russell and I have met twice about this and discussed it, and we have come to an agreement that satisfies my concerns and still does not interfere with the development. So I want to thank Russell again publicly for that. Just want to mention, basically what we've agreed upon is a buffer of 15 feet with the buffer to remain natural. An 8-foot privacy fence will be erected on a line 15 feet from our property line with small deviations allowable to keep from cutting desirable trees.
Is that just gonna back up to your 300 feet or?
Do what?
Is that just gonna back up to your backyard or?
Yes.
or 2 houses on the other side of it?
No, this is just my property I'm speaking of.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's my 300 feet, basically, from the line. And it'll continue on down, there is an easement for a sewer down there. It'll continue down to the easement and then kind of follow the easement down on past my property for as far as practical. At the end of my property, closest to Gentile Road, there'll be a 15-foot section of 8-foot fence to connect the main fence with my property corner. Okay. The drainage concern is that basically my property is low property. And years ago, when I first moved there, many years ago, I installed drainage tiles so that I could adequately do what I wanted to do. So measures should be taken so that no water comes from the development of my property. That's engineering 101, I think, right? Okay. And there's going to be a pond there, and I would like for that pond to drain into the ditch well past my property so that it doesn't affect my property as far as water is concerned. And just as a desirable aspect, it would be nice for that pond to have some kind of a flow so it would not be stagnant and attract the mosquito population. Other than that, it's just a general observation that, and Russell agrees that we just like to keep that property as natural as possible back there, okay? Again, I'd like to thank Russell for working with me on this. I have heard by the grapevine that not all developers are so inclined. Anyway, thanks again, Russell, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Sparks, I can't believe you did all this before you even came here. Usually all this gets brought to us before two sane people with common sense get together and come up with a solution before they come up here. They come up here and then it would just waste time.
We're trying to save you trouble.
And thank you for telling us about it. To know that y'all got together before you coming here, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak against the request? Okay. And before let me reopen it up for 4. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Cody Rogers, EMC Engineering. We're the engineers of record on this project. Just wanted to offer that we're here to answer any questions that may have arisen from Mr. Sparks' presentation, but as you can see, the developer and Mr. Sparks have gone through several meetings to work through issues, so.
Thank you. And if council has any questions, we'll do that during council discussion. Okay. All right,
Can I
anybody
just
else?
add one thing?
Yes, sir.
Russell has said that if they see any need to make any changes, that he will discuss this with me and we'll come up with a solution.
Thank you, Mrs. Parker. Anybody else for? Anybody against? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, council, any discussion?
Are y'all moving wetlands? I'm looking at the flood map, and everything drains into that retention pond?
So there's already been a wetland delineation done. There are no wetlands on that property. That is a low area towards the back where the pond is located. Everything will drain to that pond and then subsequently to that ditch. And as Mr. Sparks indicated, we'll put the outfall for that pond as far away from his property as possible.
And it won't bother him or his neighbors to the left or the right.
That's correct. That pond and that drainage ditch will actually drain to the south. So barring a massive flooding event, there would be no impact to his property.
Thank you for your input.
Any further discussion by council?
I have a question. So the concerns, Mr. Russell, is that Mr. Russell? Are you the contractor or the developer? Okay, so the concerns that I forgot your name, sir.
Mr. Sparks.
Mr. Sparks had, you guys are in agreement with the concerns that he has? And are you guys gonna apply?
I'm gonna speak for Russell here and
Yeah.
say yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Well, y'all just made my job easier.
It's Christmas time.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to me.
Mr. Mayor, I had a question. I'm sorry, I wasn't following closely, Mr. Sparks, when you were indicating, I'm looking at our map that shows the aerial view. Your property, the 300, almost 300 feet that borders this property is like the second property on Simmons Road coming from Gentilly, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got this long part right here. Right here.
Yes.
Okay, so my question is, you've worked it out with Mr. Sparks, the people who own the first house, is fronts on Gentilly and backs up, shares a border with you. Are we gonna do the vegetative border there as well? Or is this,
So in looking at this plan, can you see that screen or do you have it on the screen where you can see it? Yeah, let me bring a hard copy. The plan will be to keep as much, if not all, of this natural as possible. So the fence, since we're taking the pond close to Mr. Sparks' house, the fence would extend back 15 feet, basically the edge of the pond here along his property. But we're thinking if we can keep this dense enough, the natural vegetation will keep
more than 15 feet of vegetation up here?
Yes, probably closer to 50, 60.
Dean Morris is on that screen. So the recording, hey, I apologize, that is not the same plat that I have.
It is not.
And this is, so this is the one that y'all agreed on.
That's correct.
This is not the one in our packet.
That's addressed in the plan itself.
So they can see.
Sure.
If you're gonna point one out, would you use one of the big TV?
Absolutely. What I was talking to Bar about is this would be the natural buffer area here. The idea is to keep as much of this natural wood so that you don't have to put a fence there. The fence right now would extend basically along the top of the detention pond along Mr. Sparks' property, somewhere just past his property here to somewhere just past his property.
And that's the new design?
That is correct.
Okay, so that driveway or entrance or whatever you wanna call it, it's actually been moved further away from the corner,
That's correct.
the intersection? Okay, yeah, that's actually good. Right, it's not that part of Gentilly gets that busy, but it can
That's right.
back up a little bit, and so it could cause problems if people try to left turn, since most people are gonna left turn out of it.
Far away as possible would be.
Right,
ideal.
further is better, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I have one other question.
Okay.
This is for staff, I think. Can you remind me, there's a border shared at the very back of this, a small border on the property that fronts on Lovett Road that we recently changed.
Yes, that's correct.
So what's gonna happen at the big Lovett Road? Is it gonna be,
The Logan Road, will be apartments, as it was rezoned recently, if you, remember. So that will remain as a development that will be going on. But there will be a buffer, I believe it was part of the plan. I'm trying to remember it, but I believe that there was a buffer so that we didn't run into that issue with the single-family homes and with the commercial as well.
so folks in that neighborhood gonna get a lot more neighbors?
That is correct. Yes, there'll be a lot of development going on, the townhomes and then the apartments on the Locust Road side.
I appreciate the developers doing what they can to maintain as much buffer as possible and as green and healthy as possible, and staff following up to be sure that happens.
Right, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
EMC, one more question, man, I apologize. I am confused, this is what came in my packet, this is what I got Thursday. And this is the plat, which is somewhat different, that he just presented. I just wanted to make sure, has everybody else seen this?
Yeah, it's the one that's on the screen right
And then where did that come from? How come I didn't get it in my packet?
We didn't send that revision until Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And
All
so-
I want, I just wanna make sure that,
Yes,
Mr. Sparks knows that this is the plan and not this.
that's,
And you're okay with that?
The one on the
I
screen.
have no
Oh,
more
yeah.
questions.
yes.
That one's better for him.
The one on the
Make sure
screen
we're all on the
is,
same page.
as Councilman Boyum said, it's better for him. And we worked with Cody and with the developer to flip this so that it became a bigger buffer with the detention pond on the single-family side, as opposed to having the development. It was originally, as you saw on the original plan, the townhomes were bordering on the single-family side. And we flipped it so that the townhomes could be against the commercial side, and that the single-family would have that buffer and the detention pond.
Y'all did all this without us ever even hearing about it.
Great job.
Exactly.
Just like we pay him to do.
Absolutely.
And it all worked. That was the
Apparently
great part.
so, everybody's happy, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna, I'll echo that last sentiment. This is an example of excellent infill. You're taking into consideration the existing neighbors. You do a slight modification to make the intersection safer, but you know, if you zoom out and really look at that spot, I mean, that's nice density, very close to Brandon Street and all the development there, not to mention close to downtown and tied in with our sidewalk network. So that's, I mean, good work on staff, and thank you for bringing us a nice infill development project.
All right, with that being said, is there a motion to approve with staff recommendations?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, congratulations. We'll move down to agenda item 7, which is a public hearing, consideration of a motion to approve application sub 23-11-02. Cameron Lovett requests a preliminary subdivision plat of approximately 16.47 acres of property located at Brandon Street. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is
Second.
there- All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kathy, if you'll give us some insight.
Yes, sir. Currently, the property is a vacant wooden lot between the existing Vaden Nissan dealership and the existing Statesboro crossing. The development was originally conceived as a continuing section of a development as a part of the Statesboro quarters, but a large amount of wetlands halted the intended development at the time. The applicant intends to subdivide the property to sell smaller lots for a smaller scale amount of development. The property is zoned appropriately for a mix of development types at this time. And you can see the parcel outlined in red, and on the top left is the Vaden Nissan dealership. The future land use map shows the blue area, and you can see that the wetlands are constraining this development of the site. So the blue represents conservation area, and the red represents activity center, regional center development. The current zoning shows this to be appropriately zoned for MX. The subject property, showing the Henry Boulevard section, is on the top left. The Brandon Street section is on the bottom right. The property to the east is on the top left, and the property to the west is on the bottom right. And this shows the development plan for the site you can see all the wetlands in the back. And the property will be subdivided into 5 different lots along Brandon Street. And the idea is that the proposed right-of-way along between at where the Nissan dealership is an existing right-of-way, and that will tie into Henry Boulevard. So that will swing around, it'll become an L-shaped along the rear of those parcels, and it will tie into Henry Boulevard. Staff does recommend approval of SUB 23-11-02. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of this preliminary subdivision does not grant the right to develop on the site without approval from the city. All construction must be reviewed and approved by the city. 2, development of the property must take into consideration all created lots, and stormwater must be mitigated with the total square footage of the overall development before approval of a land disturbance permit. 3, during development, shared access must be shown to ensure the overall connectivity of Henry Boulevard and Baden Drive, which is that L-shaped connection, as I mentioned. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on December 5th, 2023, the Commission recommended approval of the request and staff conditions upon a 6-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Steph. Is there anyone here to speak for this request?
Mr. Mayor and Council, my name is John Dotson with Maxwell Reddick and Associates. Kathy has hit all the highlights as usual. She does a very good job of explaining it. It's very simple. We're going to take the good part, divide it into 5 lots, leave the wetlands as one large parcel, that all 5 parties on those lots will equally share that. We'll agree to all the staff's conditions, and we would ask for your support in this. I'll answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. And we'll get to you during council discussion.
Gotcha.
All right, is there anyone here to speak against this request?
Not against, but I want to weigh in for the 4, Mr. Mayor. My name is Alan Gross, your business recruiter. This is a lot that Todd has worked, put a tremendous amount of effort in. We've already had several discussions with developers. We had a conference call Monday with one out of Chicago. Okay. So Statesboro is casting a very large net these days, and that's just the ones that I've been able to bring him. Todd has his own contacts, so I don't foresee him having any problem selling these individually. It would not shock me to find out a developer that wants to come in and buy all of them. So it's a little different because of how it's cut up with the wetlands, but ultimately this will be a benefit for the city, and I encourage you to approve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for or against? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, if we will, let us open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council?
So Kathy, the proposed road behind, that'll help alleviate at least some of the traffic. I mean, that's a section of Brandon where you won't be able to turn left out of there. Is that correct? Isn't that a divided section of Brandon?
Yes, you're right, but the idea is that it will tie in the Nissan right-of-way will tie into Henry Boulevard, so it will provide a second means of access.
And then
in and out.
Nissan, is that where the intersection with that goes into Walmart?
Yes.
That's
Yeah, that's there right now.
Okay, so so right there where that it says proposed, but it's already there.
It's already there.
That's
Yes.
There's already an actual lighted intersection.
There's a road there right now, and
Yeah, okay.
the idea is, if you can scroll up just a little more, Lane, is the to the right. Sorry, you can see where it will.
Yeah.
The proposal is to tie into Henry Boulevard, so it will form an L-shaped. Part of it's already existing, and then they'll build that rear extension.
What's right there where your mouth just? What's in the very corner? Nope. All the way in the corner. Yeah, what's that parcel right there? Do you know?
That's Aldi.
That's Aldi, and so Yummy is across the street there. So that's where that road will tie in from intersection to intersection.
Yeah, right.
Perfect, okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
that's-
it really gives a second means of access and egress.
Well, yeah, and it just manages the traffic better off the street, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay?
Any further discussion by council?
I had a question for Alan, or the experts. Who do you think would buy these lots, and what do you think they would put there?
Well, from my standpoint, the developers I talk to are pretty adamant that their plans remain under wraps until they actually finish it. I can tell you that either it's the people we've talked to, at least that I've helped introduce to Todd, are standalone retail and consumer good related, what you've hired me to go after. So that's, sorry, but that's about as much as I can tell you. Todd might have more information that he can give you, but
No,
that's
that's
all I'm
fine,
promising.
and it just, it warms me to hear that they're interested and they see this as, they know this is profitable. See the traffic, y'all are going after them, and, you say you can fill them, that's fine with me.
I have no doubt.
All right, thank you.
I know it,
Anything?
Mr. Mayor, let me just clarify, so we're not talking about any kind of a zoning change, this is already mixed use, we're just a preliminary approval of them dividing it to sell it this way is what we're voting on. Is that
That's
right?
correct. This is a request to subdivide the property to create legal lots. Okay, so it's already zoned, it's got the MX zoning, which is the commercial zoning, so it will allow for everything that Alan wants to build there.
So will each person, who builds the road? Each individual lot owner?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's a potential there that the middle piece could be undeveloped for a while and then your road's not complete. Okay.
The very back of this property goes back to the walking trail, and there's a little piece on the other side of the walking trail, but that's not really being affected because everybody understands that's wetlands, it has to stay like
That's
it
right,
is, right?
that's right. Yeah, so we can't build a road in the wetlands, it has to be out of the wetlands.
Thank you.
This is for polling time. Right, thank you. Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve with staff conditions?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, congratulations. We move down to agenda item 8, which is the public hearing consideration of a motion to approve application sub-23-11-03 SLA Communities LLC request a preliminary subdivision plat for approximately 36.55 acres of property in order to construct 124-unit single-family detached subdivision on Beasley Road. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Kathy, if you'll give us some insight on this, please.
Yes, sir. The property is currently a wooded lot located on Beasley Road. In 2023, the applicant went through the annexation and zoning process to establish a single-family residential development. And they have completed all topographical studies and wetland delineations at this time. The applicant has proposed a multi-phase development and intends to begin development in early 2024. General review of all land disturbance requirements has been completed by city staff. So as you remember, this is the site in question on Beasley Road. The future land use map shows this to be an established residential neighborhood. The current zoning, if you remember, was zoned R6. The subject property is shown on the top left. The property to the north is shown on the bottom right. Property to the west is shown on the top left, and the property to the south on the bottom right. And here is the site plan that was approved. The Beasley Road is shown on the very left side of this site plan, and they are going to propose to develop this in phases, in 3 phases. The first phase will be directly along Beasley Road, and then the second phase will be to the right, to the back right, and then the third phase will be to the back left. And they will be starting this very, very shortly. Staff does recommend approval of SUB 23-11-03. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated condition. 1, approval of this preliminary subdivision does not grant the right to develop on the site without approval from the city. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on December 5th, 2023, the commission recommended approval of the request and staff conditions upon a 6-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here to speak for this request?
I'm Ashley Darks with SLA Communities and Smith Family Homes, and just I'll answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you. All right, anybody else for? Is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? If we will, let's open it up for council discussion.
Yes, you have spoken with all the neighbors, who have also spoken with me, and y'all have agreed all on this. This is good.
Yes, sir. This has been, y'all know, it's been a long, very extensive
Yes,
process.
yes.
It's getting where we are now.
Yes, sir.
So
Make sure.
we made as many accommodations as we could that made the property feasible, including a buffer down the whole backside that backs up to that less dense area, the larger all lots. We've done some tweaking to it to make it a little bit more feasible for the homeowners too, and some sidewalks and things to make it a little bit better plan for them. But I think we've come to an agreement with all of them, and some still don't want that density next to them, but we tried to accommodate as many of those requests as we could.
Well, the fact that no one is speaking against it, we have to take that into consideration. But y'all certainly cooperated.
Yes, sir. No
I
doubt.
appreciate that of y'all. Thank you. No more questions.
Thank you, John. Any further discussion by council?
Mr. Mayor, I just want to highlight, this is to me the biggest challenge that the council has faced in the last several years. We know how many people are coming, and we know we don't have enough spaces for the folks already here to live. We need more housing, but we also have to look out for the people who are already here and finding that balance, you know? This is the big challenge. I want to echo the appreciation of the developers who are willing to take the time to go through that process and try to accommodate the neighbors as best we can. I just have one other question I wanted to clarify. So I know you're going to put trees back. I heard good things about trees, but you basically go in and clear cut to begin with to get grading and get all that in place. My question was about how much. When you're only doing the phase one, will you be doing a lot of the clear cutting up front, or will it just be?
So a lot of times when we do a project this size, of course, we do have to clear cut a lot in order to get the grading right for a neighborhood with this density. So what we do is we typically have a timberer come in and timber the lumber. They only cut down softwood, so we always leave all the hardwoods in place. And then as we go through with our GPS equipment, every hardwood tree in there, we go by and GPS it. Is it in the middle of a house pad? Is it in, a drainage easement? Is it in a utility or a road? If it isn't, we flag that tree. And so when our clearing crew comes through, we save those trees and try to keep as many of those, because we can't replace a 20-year-old tree, much less a 100-year-old tree. One thing we do on all our communities, and we've been doing it since the early 90s, is a true street tree program. If you've been through our Hartford subdivision, you'll see we plant trees along the roadways between curb and sidewalk every 40 feet. You go back in that community in 10 years, it feels like a neighborhood, not just a community out in the middle of a field somewhere. So we were very big on that. The buffers along the side will stay completely out of that, and that's just the limits of disturbance. If we can push off of that, we'll push off from that even further. We're not going to clear, just because the lot's 300 feet deep, we're going to clear the house, a reasonable backyard, 30, 40 feet, and the rest of that will remain wooded as well. So we try to save as many as we can. Sometimes the drainage does affect that, but we try to work around it as much as we can.
Okay, and so thank you, that's reassuring. But my question was, it's feasible, economically feasible once you start this project, even though you're only building houses on that first phase, you will do a lot of that land clearing for the whole project or not?
We will timber all of it to get all those trees out of the way. We won't actually physically clear the whole site. We have a permit to clear all of it. We typically clear and build in phases based on need. So we've got 40-something lots in the first phase. We'll clear and get all that ready for that phase. We may go in the other phase for dirt borrow. There may be some dirt shifting from rear to back, but we won't go there and completely clear the rest of that site until we need it. Just from a cost standpoint of putting all that money in the ground and it's sitting there for 3 or 4 years cleared, and you have to go back through it, so.
Gotcha. Thank you, Mr. Durham.
You're welcome.
Very helpful.
Any other questions? Thank y'all.
Seeing that there's no further questions by council, is there a motion to approve with staff conditions?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, congratulations, sir. We'll move down to agenda item 9, which is a public hearing and consideration of motion to approve application RZ 23-11-04, West District Development requesting amendment to an existing PUD, which is a planned unit development in order to complete the Phase 2 development of the West District located at 40 West Cherry Street. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kathy, if you will.
Yes. The property is currently an existing warehouse located on South College Street and West Cherry Street. The original plan for the Phase 2 PUD included a different parking lot as well as 2 buildings parallel to South College Street. And now, as you know, we zoned to a PUD. So when you change the PUD, you have to come back in and get it rezoned. So the applicant is requesting to amend the number and location of the buildings for Phase 2, increasing the number of buildings by 1 and increasing the square footage across all 3 by approximately 5,000 square feet. The applicant would also be amending the general area of parking for all buildings. So you can see and this is the Phase 2 development, and it shows the existing warehouse currently located on there. The future land use map shows this to be in the downtown area. The zoning shows the warehouse in light green to be light industrial, and then the brown represents the PUD zoning. So you can see the subject property in the top left, and the property to the south, which was the Phase 1 development, on the bottom right. The property to the north on the top left, and the property to the east on the bottom right. And this shows you essentially the site plan and the top area, which is subdivided by Cherry Street, East Cherry Street, shows the revised plan, which includes, rather than 2 buildings, now we have 3 smaller buildings, although the buildings have been increased by 5,000 square feet, and the parking area has changed. So those are the amendments to the site plan that is currently under review and discussion tonight. Staff does recommend approval of RZ 23-11-04. If this petition is approved by the Mayor and City Council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of the zoning map amendment does not grant the right to develop on the site without approval. All construction must be approved by the city. 2, the original approved road structure from the dedicated East Cherry Street, College Street sidewalk improvements and MLK grading must be completed before issuance of a CO on Phase 2. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on December 5th, 2023, the Commission recommended approval of the request and staff conditions upon a 6-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? I looked over you about 30 times.
Yeah, one more time.
Yeah.
Mayor and Council, thank y'all. So this is just the completion, the final piece of this. We've already got, everything in Phase 1 is sold, and the building permits will probably come in through the spring. So by the end of next year, Phase 1 will be built out with structures, and this allows for one more pad. As you know, development cost has gone up, and we had to add another pad to pay for the development costs. The warehouse is completely leased. We're going to completely renovate the outside of it, paint it, landscaping, and give us the additional parking we need for Vauxhall. That has kind of exceeded our expectations too on use. So try to get more parking on the roadside and to serve that project, and leaves 2 pads in Phase 2, which we already have 1 possibly going under contract. So hopefully you don't see me more on this project.
Okay.
I'll be here if you got any questions.
All right, thank you, Josh. Anyone else for? All right, is there anyone who speak against the request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's open it up for council discussion.
On the two pads, are those, is that for office space?
Commercial, retail,
Whatever.
first one will be office space and then retail and hopefully a cafe.
Oh, okay, great.
Any further discussion by council?
Mr. Mayor, I was, doing a little bit over there. I'm really impressed with that whole development. I think it's a real plus downtown. However, a few events I've been to, as you noted, there's not enough parking for Foxhall. And when I was there and I rode back through today, it's just real abrupt drop-offs and grading, and if you're trying to walk in the dark, dangerous. So I was glad to see some reference in condition 2. I guess that covers that, Kathy, about trying to, I don't know how much is the developer and how much is the city. I'm sure it's a partnership.
Yeah, well, the idea being that, well, part of it is included as part of a TAD project. And we also want to make sure that they complete East Cherry Street. And East Cherry Street will be a private road, and they will end up parking perpendicular to that warehouse. So that will serve as an enhanced parking area. And they have to fill it up a little because there is a grade change from the existing development on one side. So there's lots of work yet to be done in terms of moving dirt around and whatnot. But we will make sure that all of that is in place before they get a CO, which is the certificate of occupancy. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve the staff conditions?
So moved. Is
there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, I do want to, tip my hat to Josh and his team over there. It's an amazing vision that you have come to fruition, so we're definitely excited about continued success. Yeah, and once you finish with this project, then you'll be looking at another project in the city. Absolutely. Nothing like local business. Let's look at agenda item 10, which is public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application for alcohol license in accordance with the City of Statesboro Alcohol Ordinance, Section 6-13A. Express One Stop, 3190 Northside Drive, West Statesboro, Georgia 30458. License type will be package sales, beer and wine only. Is there a motion to open the public hearing? Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kathy, are there any issues?
No issue, Mayor.
Okay, Chief Graham, are there any issues?
No issues.
All right, Chief Broadhead, are there any issues?
No issues, Mayor.
Kane?
No issues, Mayor.
Okay. All right, is there anyone who wants to speak for this request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there anyone here to speak against the request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing? Is there a second? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we want to open it up for council discussion. Any council discussion? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We move down to agenda item 11, which is the second reading and consideration of a motion to approve ordinance 2023-20, an ordinance amending chapter 10, article 1 of the Statesboro Code of Ordinances. Mr. Penfield, give us the question.
I think it's the animal control.
Yeah.
Mayor and Council, what's before y'all right now is the second reading and consideration of Chapter 10, Article 1. That's when we'll replace our current Article 1 of Chapter 10. And this will be 24 subsections, and the point of doing this is we will maintain our city animal control provisions, but we're also making the ones that are there are analogs in the county, we're making them consistent, because the point is, we're going to enter in, we do have an IGA coming up forward, so that'll fulfill the county's obligations under our service delivery strategies. And what we're trying to do is make it so that all animal control violations go through magistrate court, and just to facilitate that, it makes the most sense that our ordinances do match. So, yeah, y'all approved this back on December 5th, and there were no changes then, so it's just back before y'all again.
All right. Thank you. All right, any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll move down to agenda item 12, which is consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2023-51, a resolution to approve the employee compensation plan for public safety, which is our police officers and firefighters, effective January 1st, 2024, and general government employees effective July 1, 2024. Mr. Penny, if you'll give us some insight.
Mayor, members of the council, at the last meeting on December 5th, we had an excellent work session about the employee compensation plan. When we look back at the origin of the plan, it actually goes back to our council retreat where we talked with you about how we wanted to, your philosophy on the employee compensation plan. You authorized the hiring of Condra and Associates, and that was done in July. And what they have prepared for us is a pay plan that they gave us 3 options of plan A, B, and C, and then equity adjustment based on years of service with the city. And so what you have before you tonight is a recommendation that would implement the employee compensation plan for public safety employees, police and fire, and as we discussed the last time, effective January 1st, 2024. And then the general government employees would be implemented in July 1, 2024. The cost for implementation of the pay plan in total, Plan A, and you recommended Plan A, and we recommend that to you, is $2.3 million. And the cost to implement just the public safety section of the pay plan from January 25th through the end of June is $428,747.70. The pay plan itself, you said you wanted to lead the market. And so the consultant gave us 3 versions. One where we were right at market, one we were 2.5% above market, and Plan A at 5% above market. And so we recommend Plan A for adoption, and we also recommended the equity adjustment, which would go for people with less than a year service. They would get nothing for equity, but above that, they would get 2%, at 4%, and the max for a bit more than 7 years, they would get 6%. We recommend that because when you implement a pay plan, not everyone gets an increase. It's not an automatic increase. And so what this does is ensure that every employee, not just those that fall off the pay plan, but every employee will get something as a result of the implementation of the pay plan. Mayor and Council, we did not prepare an extensive presentation for you tonight. We did that at the last session. But Mayor and Council, I recommend approval of the pay plan as outlined before you for the public safety employees in January and for general government employees on July 1st, 2024. Recommend for your approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. We'll open it up for council discussion.
I would like to make a motion to adopt this resolution, except include every employee of the city of Statesboro, starting off with this January 1st, instead of 24, instead of just public safety. I would like every employee to start January 1st. I make the motion for that.
Any further discussion by council with the motion on the floor?
What's the dollar difference? I'm sorry, Paulette, the dollar difference you said, instead of $500,000, you're talking 2.3 million to try to start everybody in January?
No, that's an annual cost, Ms. Barr.
No, but it would increase our budget for this year by 1.1 million, which is half the annual cost of that raise. So.
and I'm not, I think you're right, based on the information that we shared with you the last time, to do general government employees and public safety employees, be about $500,000 just to do, general government employees and the 400-some thousand. So it'd be about $1 million to do all the employees, and that would be effective on January 25th.
And what does that do to the 2.3 million?
So it would just be a part of the cost, Mayor. The 2.3 million is an annualized cost. So you're just gonna have that cost for 6 months. And the real telltale will be at the end of the next year, when at the end of 2025, when you will have had the full effect of the cost of the pay plan. You just have to pay more right now, but so if you take the 2.3 is a full annualized year, so you're just talking about $1 million from January to the end of June.
Okay. All right, Councilman Riggs has placed a motion. Is there a second to that motion? With there being a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's 4-1?
No, I just thought we were still discussing. I
Me
wasn't
too,
prepared to
too
vote.
fast for me. I'm sorry, I thought we had a
You
discussion.
usually do the motion and then discussion.
Yeah, go ahead, discuss.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Sorry.
Mayor, I misunderstood where we were going.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just gonna cost us $1.15 million more than we anticipated. Half of the raise. And so, we're already, 1 point something, so this is gonna put us 2 and change into our savings. Well, what's our current, we're sitting here. I mean, it's just not what we discussed.
A little bit over $7 million.
And I'm sorry I didn't make it clear the way I felt at the work session.
Okay.
Column A, everybody starts January 1st.
Okay. And so let's just,
Sorry.
yeah, and this is just a point of order. Typically, the way it rolls is I'll fast for a motion. Council will immediately say there's a second, and then we'll take the vote. In this case, with that motion being the motion that it was, I open it up for council discussion. It's a point of privilege by the chair. We had discussion, then I asked for a second to the motion that was on the table. The second to that motion was seconded, and then there was once it was second, that immediately turns it into a vote. And then we took that vote, and so at this point right now, we have Councilmember Mack, Councilmember Shavers, Councilmember Riggs, that's in favor. A no vote by Councilmember Sherry Barr, and as a point of clarification, is that a yea or nay vote for Councilmember Boyd?
Again, I mean, it didn't feel like we had enough discussion, I wasn't prepared to vote. With all due respect, Mayor, Robert's Rules of Order, motion comes before discussion. We've been doing it wrong for a long time. It's not a point of privilege to do it that way, that's how it is. Please go look it up, I wish Jane would look it up, this is really crazy.
Yeah, we've been
We
doing
keep
it
talking
for
about
6 years,
it.
the same exact way.
In the spirit of the season, I get it. We did not talk about it, but I feel we talked it to death at the work session.
Okay.
And everybody got there what they felt out, and but anyway, we can debate all night long.
Okay, so at this point, well, an action has already occurred.
Okay.
Okay, and so, do you stand beside the motion?
I do, but I will cede time for as much discussion as.
Okay, because the vote has already been cast.
Okay, well, I'm cool with it being with it finalized, 3-2.
All right. And so, let's
not,
yeah, exactly, Councilmember William has not cast a vote, officially. Councilmember, do you want to abstain, vote yea, or do you want to vote no?
I'm just suggesting that we haven't discussed the financial impact of this. I mean, it's just willy-nilly to just throw. If we vote on this now, John, it's in the past. We're going to just have to deal with a 1.1 million extra shortfall on top of whatever we've already voted on, which is close to $1 million. So we're going to be $2.1 million in the hole this year. That doesn't include if we hire more people? Am I wrong? Am I math wrong? And I'm not just saying that that's not a problem, I'm just saying it's something that we just should discuss. It's not a insignificant amount of money.
And I can see that all of those figures are correct.
Okay.
And I know how big our budget is. I know how big our
let's
cushion
just put it this
is,
way, the total.
And we are already behind the 8 ball.
I understand.
The
total.
The day Korea said we're gonna build that place, they were running full speed. And now they are about to start building cars. And then they're gonna start shipping them.
Okay. I get you, I'm just saying that the total increase in this thing would pay for Louettamore Park in 2 years. That's how significant that money is. It's a big money we're talking. So I'm not opposed. I just want to make sure that you understand we're putting ourselves $1.15 million more in the hole, give or take a few $1,000s extra in 2024. Is that?
All right, at this point, we'll turn it over to Mr. Penny and then we'll move forward.
So the cost to implement it is $1.1 million total. The cost to the general fund is $500,000.
Okay.
The fire fund is $226,000.
Okay.
And then the enterprise fund is $348,000. So it's not all general fund dollars. And at the same time, you know, our employees are they will be okay. They would appreciate whatever you do for them. But it is, and I'll just simply say, we're gonna implement whatever the council approves.
Okay.
But it does make it difficult when you give one group, and I recommend it. So I'm gonna stand by my recommendation. But at the same time, it's difficult when you have public safety employees and then you have general government employees in the same building. And the public safety, the certified law enforcement officers get the increase, but all those general government employees do not.
Okay.
And so there is some cost. There should be some savings in the general fund. One of the things with the vacancies that have been in the police department, that saves us money. And if there are other vacancies in the general fund, that also saves us money. What will happen to the council, and just put it, this was a challenge that when we were looking at the budget that we were trying to prepare for, so we didn't use any fund balance so that we could afford to be able to do this. So what's gonna happen is we should experience some growth. That's why we've been sharing with you all the development that's coming. That $60 million to $100 million in development, that will help offset some of that general fund costs. So we anticipate, and we've already heard from some folks, and I don't want to get too far out over our skis because I'm not the tax assessor, but we anticipate there's going to be some additional property value growth next year when we're putting that budget together. So there will be some opportunities, and we didn't go up on the tax rate as we recommended, but we do anticipate that there will be some more growth, and you might not have to go as far next year based on some added growth. So all of those things give us the opportunity to recoup but at the same time make us whole. Our challenge is, and this is what Demetrius Vines was sharing with us, and the work that has been done by the Joint Development Authority. Our challenge is that if we don't pay our employees, we stand to lose a good group of our employees. And that's what we're trying not to do. Already, for the city of Statesboro, more than 50% of our employees have been with us less than 5 years. And some of that is from attrition, but some of it is also they see greener grass, and they've been going there. And when that plant opens over in Bryan County. We're gonna lose some people, but we wanna keep them here as much as we can. And so paying them will help us keep them here. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right, citing that a motion was made and properly second, and a vote was properly cast, the council has made a decision on a 3-2. And whether it's an abstention or a nay vote, the amendment had, agenda item 12 has passed, in accordance with Robert's rules. And so unless the council is prepared to rescind, we're gonna move on to the next agenda item.
I am prepared to rescind and then go back and vote, just so that they can debate. I'll listen to you for hours if you want to, but I'm gonna make the same motion when it comes back around to making a motion. But, I mean, this is a democracy, it's a republic. Talk all you want, I'll listen to everything you have to say. But I think we did it 2 weeks ago, or at least I said my piece and I heard everybody else's piece. And this is the way I think we need to go, start paying everybody January 1st.
Yeah, and if we do that, we just need to, understand that come spring, we really are going to have to look at some finances. We've got some big projects that are on the works, and we're gonna have to decide which ones are important and which ones aren't. And we've been pushing some things off for a while, and
Absolutely, I concur.
and I have no problem supporting our staff. We have some of the best staff in the state. There's no doubt about it. We have great staff. I am 100% supportive of the staff. We just need to make sure that we can keep paying them down the road, so we don't have to furlough them or cut them or worse. So, which I've had to live through, and that happens when you don't plan. So I just want to make sure that if we're going to give these folks raises, is so we can keep them on as well as keep them working.
Yeah, absolutely, and retain them.
Yeah,
You know,
so
it's so much easier to keep an employee.
Yeah, let us go ahead and get back in order. Councilman Riggs, the motion was made, properly second, and it was passed. Do you want to put a motion on the table to rescind the action from line item 12?
If they would like to speak and be heard, I will rescind my vote and my motion and listen to debate.
So I need you to make the motion to do so.
I motion to rescind.
Okay, is there a second to Councilman Riggs' request?
And if they don't second it, then.
Is it?
I'm not seconding.
So only the ones who voted can rescind, or any council member?
Any council member?
Second.
Okay, all right, so there's a second. All those in favor of reopening line item 12?
Aye.
All right, on the 3-2, line item 12 is back open. All right, let's open it up for council discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for allowing the process, and thank you, Mr. Congressman Riggs, for rescinding, so we can have some discussion about it. It just caught me by surprise. It moved more quickly than I anticipated. The discussion, it felt like, for me, it was cut short, calling for the motion to second it. So there wasn't time for folks to express.
Point of information, we rarely have, as a point of information, we rarely have discussion in between motions. We have not done that at all tonight, so standard operational procedure by this chair of this committee has always been ask for a motion, ask for a second, ask for a vote. As a point of privilege, so that council could have the opportunity to open it up. I did say, is there any discussion by council? So just as a point of order as to how things typically go in this section.
And I will confess that when you did ask for discussion, these two were caught so off guard.
Yeah, because we normally don't.
They were speechless.
But it was clear that there was a little bit of shock, so that's why we opened it up for discussion.
And I apologize, we didn't think I was.
Yeah, exactly.
No worries.
So with
Just
that,
caught me by surprise.
yeah, so with that established, Councilman Barr, if you will.
Thank you. Yes, and thank you for allowing the discussion and allowing to proceed. I also value our staff. It's a very unpopular position to be in, to say, no, don't give them raises, particularly when we're in the awkward position of, my understanding was, we commissioned this study, we were gonna get the results, we pushed through the public safety to get them, because that's the biggest need, to do that in January. And then the only reason we even considered everybody getting it earlier than anticipated was because Congress did their work so quickly. All along we've been talking about it, but once you start talking about it, it feels like, oh, they could have and now they didn't. So just an awkward situation. I do also value our staff, and at this point in time am willing to support the motion and move forward, and I'm sure our capable staff will figure out how to stretch the money and cover, because we do need to keep the good staff we have. We have a wonderful team working for the city of Statesboro. And so,
A comment on that is, we just had someone retire today, 36 years keeper. He walks out with 36 years of knowledge that he can never put down in a book and can't pass it on to anyone.
Sure.
I mean, thank you for the 36 years, but anyway, we need to keep you guys. We got ACOG back there. How long have you been with us?
25 years.
25 years. Sneed, all of y'all. We got so many folks that just been here. Anyway, Phil,
Any further discussion? Yeah.
any discussion?
All right, seeing that there's no discussion on that end, Councilmember Shavers, any discussion?
No, my only thing is we can't do any projects without employees. So pay them. We gonna have to pay them anyways. Pay them.
All right, Councilmember Mack, any discussion?
No, sorry.
Okay. Any further discussion from anyone else on council? All right, seeing that there is no further discussion, is there a motion in regards to agenda item 12?
I make a motion to approve resolution 2325-51 for employee compensation with the stipulation that all employees, general government and public safety employees, all begin the pay raise, the compensation plan, January 1st, 2024.
All right, is there a second to the motion that's on the floor?
Second.
All those in favor of the motion on the floor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing that there is none, this council has made the right decision tonight. And I applaud you guys.
I just want, for a point of clarification, the pay raise will be on January 25th. That's when employees will see it in their check. It won't be January 1st, so that's why. Because John said January 1st.
I got a lot of phone calls to make.
Everybody, January 1st. It's gonna be January 25th.
Technically, the raise does take place in the first week of January, they just don't get paid.
And then for the mayor and council, tomorrow we are having a supervisors meeting, which will be via Zoom, which will be recorded, which we will talk to all of our supervisors about the implementation of the pay plan. And once we record those, we then share those with all of our employees, so everybody gets the same information. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move down to agenda item 13, which is consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2023-52, a resolution authorizing the opening of a separate bank account for the 2023 T-Splosh. Mr. Payne, is there anything else you can add to that?
I mean, we just need to open bank account, ready for the recommended approval.
All right, any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 14, which is consideration of a motion to approve a temporary special event permit in accordance with the City of Statesboro Alcohol Ordinance, Section 6-8B3, issued to the Blue Room for December the 31st, 2023, from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. The location of the event is 1830 Chandler Road. Mr. Penn.
Mayor, members of the council, this establishment ordinarily would not be open on a Sunday evening, and this is New Year's Eve, and so they need your permission to be able to do that. And so they've gone through the process, and we do recommend approval for them to be able to be open on that evening.
All right, thank you. All right, any discussion by council?
Is this the concert?
No, I think it's just,
No?
No, I think
This is
it's
just
just
a
not
New
normally
Year's
open
Eve
on
party.
Sunday,
It's
so
a
they
bar.
need it. Yeah, that's a bar, so they can't be open on Sunday,
Right.
so there's, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. That's a good idea.
All right, any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move down to agenda item 14, consideration of a motion to approve an amendment to the contract with Tyler Technology Software for on-premise license and maintenance. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, we have Tyler Technologies, and so we need to get your permission to be able to amend our contract, and that is for the, it is for the on-premise license and for maintenance. And so we do recommend approval. The cost is $43,000, I'll get the exact amount. And these are annual prices, and I think it's a little bit more than $43,000 for this license, and we do recommend approval. Yeah, waiting on me.
Okay.
We recommend.
Okay. All right, any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, move down to agenda item 16, consideration of a motion to approve the purchase of one 2023 or newer Ford F-450 Super Duty XL four-wheel drive 7.3 LV8 or equivalent at a cost not to exceed $80,000. If approved, this purchase would be funded out of the natural gas operating fund. Mr. Penny, anything you can add to that?
Mayor and council, since COVID and since the supply chain issue, purchasing equipment and rolling stock has been a little bit different. And so that's what we're bringing. Normally we bring to you a recommendation to approve a certain bid. But the difficulty is when we've gone out looking for these pieces of equipment, if they don't have them on the lot, you can't get them. And so what we're asking you to do is to approve an amount not to exceed that $80,000 number, so we can go out and see if we can't locate a truck that meets the requirements. And so we recommend and ask you for your approval for this.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 17, consideration of a motion to approve a water sewer agreement with Blanchard Equipment not to exceed $325,350 to extend 12-inch water main approximately 3,800 feet on Miller Street Extension on Veteran Memorial Parkway. Work to be paid with funds from system revenues and the water sewer fund. Mr. Penn.
Mayor and council, Blanchard Equipment is currently located on Stockyards Road, and they have a plan to move down on Miller Street Extension. So in order for them to be able to move, they need to extend water to the new site. And so in extending water to that new site, they will build an 8-inch line. They will put in new fire hydrants. But when that occurs, it's not unusual for cities to agree to pay for an oversized line. And so in this case, what we're asking them to do is we're asking them to allow us to go to an oversized line. They're gonna put in an 8-inch line. We want to get to a 12-inch line. And what that does for us is it allows us, when more development goes down that road, to be able to get some newer customers and be able to help with our fire load and all of that. And so so they have to have a water and sewer agreement for that. Plus, you have to authorize us to be able to pay the $325,000 for those oversized lines. And so tonight, we do recommend approval of the agreement, and we recommend approval of the expenditure of funds to pay for the oversized water line.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
Yes, please, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Penny, so it's the city's water line. They're willing to pay the cost of the 8-inch, but we're willing to pay the difference to make it bigger so we can serve other people.
Right, they will, what happens is they will extend the line, then it becomes our line.
Okay.
And they extend our system for us, and then they turn it over to us. And so we just want a larger line.
We just pay the difference so that there's capacity when we have new customers, we're going to be able to serve. Thank you.
Will this be part of the loop on that side of town, or?
Ultimately, yes, that's the plan, is to be able to keep extending where we can, as development, approaches us for that.
Right.
Request that from us, so ultimately we can have a loop.
Yeah, I just know that's important on the west side, so we can.
Yeah, currently our water main on the west side, water infrastructure extends, a 12-inch extends out West Side Road at Bullock Academy. That's another situation where the developer only needed an 8-inch line and he requested a 12-inch and council approved to pay the difference with Bullock Academy to extend the 12-inch out to the bypass. So ultimately, it'd be good planning for us to be able to extend out to the bypass where development patterns make sense and where the county consent to that.
Thank you, Chairman. All right, is there a motion to approve from council?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move down to agenda item 18, which is consideration of a motion to award a contract for professional engineering services for phase 2 of the South Main Street Blue Mile Streetscape Improvements Project to TR Long Engineering in the not to exceed amount of $399,420. The project will be paid from with 2018 T-SPOS funds. Mr. Penny, anything you can add to that?
I would recommend approval, Mayor.
Okay. Any discussion by council?
Yes, please, clarify for me, and you know, these numbers throw me,
Okay.
because I'm fiscally conservative. It's gonna cost $399,000 just to do the engineering plan before we start building?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they're typically run, engineering costs on a project of this magnitude is typically somewhere in the 10% range. So our cost estimates place the construction costs around $4.5–5 million. So we're at around $400,000 this phase of work. And they'll do it in, yes ma'am, they'll do it in phases. So they'll have preliminary designs, we'll have public input meetings, charrettes, things of that nature. We foresee the vision for phase 2 and 3 beyond on the Blue Mile being very similar to what you see in the first phase, just as we've presented in work sessions before.
In layman's terms, phase 2 is what section of the street?
So this would be from Fair Road, where the GDOT proposes, Georgia Department of Transportation proposes the roundabout at South Main Street, Fair Road. We're hoping to be able to extend up to East-West Grady Street in that area. This phase of work through the design and preliminary investigation will give us some guidance on that when we have some cost estimates for what that phase of work truly looks like in today's market.
And when it's fully completed, it should go to?
Ultimately, the Blue Mile streetscape will extend from initially at Tillman Road. First phase was from Tillman Road on South Main Street to Fair Road, and then ultimately up to East-West Main Street near the courthouse.
It's going to be a continuous project.
That's right. And then long-range planning beyond the Blue Mile perhaps could extend streetscape further up North Main Street, maybe up towards Northside Drive.
And the streetscape is a separate project from the creek and the flood management.
Oh, yes, yeah. Yeah, if you recall from previous work sessions, the initial concepts and discussions centered around South Main Street revitalization. That's where the Blue Mile came from, and then the creek was a byproduct. The creek and the Blue Mile is a byproduct of the Blue Mile conversation.
Will phase 3 include the intersection as well as the section on West Main that goes over to the post office?
So West Main Street streetscape project.
Because I know that's an extension of the East Main Street.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So that will be a separate project, but is actually should be coming back before you within the next few weeks.
Oh, really?
I believe we put some bids out for that for professional services. So that should be coming back before you soon. So we'll be working concurrently on some of that.
Let's do that at the same time we do the roundabout.
There'll be, as we've shown before in work sessions, there'll be a lot of work.
Sorry, Mr. Penny, take your medicine.
A glutton for punishment.
Yeah, this council's placed a focus on revitalizing downtown, and that's what we're committed to do.
The first phase looks great, and I'm sure this one will too. It just shocks me the dollars it takes to make it happen.
It's not cheap.
Correct, and, you know, Councilmember Williams' point, when East Main Street was performed, 12, 15 years ago, maybe a little longer than that, the intent was to roll from East Main Street to West Main Street, but that preceded T-Splosh and actually probably preceded some of the SPLOST investments we had for roads and drainage, and we honestly just ran out of money, didn't have money to continue that. But now that we have T-Splosh, thanks to the citizens of Bullitt County, it's making a huge impact across all of Bullitt County.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the West Main has got some other infrastructure problems, our storm drains and water mains. So it's more than just the pretty bricks on top.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Let it rain, Lord.
All right, any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll go down to other business from city council. Councilwoman Barr, any other business? All right, I do have other business. I want to thank Olympia and her team for the Christmas toy drive that was this past Sunday. How many families were we able to serve?
It was about 100 families, and I can't remember how many kids, but it was over 200 and something.
200.
And what was the money value?
The money value, I still have to add it up, so.
Yeah.
Right now, I think we're close to like 5,000.
She's talking about expenditures, but we did raise over $7,800.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Exactly. And so that's 100 families, 200 and how many kids?
It's about 250 maybe.
250 kids.
Wow.
And that's, yeah, and that's a testament to the hard work of the staff, working with community partners to do that. So we definitely want to thank you, Olympia. We know we had the youth council put together stuff. Demetrius, I know you was there Sunday. Yeah, and Lasari, where's Lasari? She's not here tonight. Yeah, but that was a beautiful.
Cindy.
Where's Cindy? There she go. Yeah, Cindy was there too. Yeah. Yeah, they partner in crime. Yeah, but that was a beautiful opportunity, and just for the citizens to know, this is the 5th year that the city of Statesboro has been a part of that. So I know if we did 100 families this year, 250 kids, I'm just gonna jump out and say maybe we've done well over 1,000 kids in those 5 years. And I think that's a conservative piece. And this, and staff, we wanna let you know that we thank you, the citizens of Statesboro, thank you. And I did get a note from a parent. I'm not gonna read it because I'm a softie when it comes to kids. But basically what they said was that event made their kids Christmas. And that's really what it's about. So guys, thank you so much for that. Thank you.
So Mayor, I don't want to steal you thunder,
Yeah.
but we also, I know you call it community partners,
Mhm.
the Deltas,
Yeah.
the AKAs, the
Yeah.
Sigma Gamma Rose, the
Yes.
Omegas, all of them were,
Yeah.
working hard, so.
Yeah, and these are partners that's with us every single year. And this is, you know, if you guys, y'all know I'm an advocate for community service. And these are organizations that really, you know, do their part to do so. And I know we had some members of the Masonic Order.
Oh, yeah.
We had volunteers from the Georgia Southern football team. So it was a really great opportunity. So thank y'all so much for that.
And we did the work from here.
Yeah.
From City Hall.
Yeah, and done from City Hall. Yeah, so that was amazing. That was one thing I wanted to announce for other business. Is there anything else from council? Okay, seeing that there's
We're gonna work on that, John.
City manager's comments.
Mayor, members of council, just want to call your attention to the FYI packet and just say the work continues. there's a notice in there about area for annexation off of Burkhalter.
Mhm.
And I will just simply say to you, we are seeing some, since y'all adopted the new Unified Development Code, we are seeing some interesting opportunities coming forward for different types of housing. So I'm just gonna say to you, stay tuned.
Okay.
Because we have to recognize in our community, housing cost is really expensive. And so we've gotta be innovative, and we gotta, everything isn't gonna be that R6, 1,500 or 4,000 square foot home. Folks are gonna be looking for more things that they can afford, but still top quality. So I just alert you that there's some interesting stuff coming forward for you to consider. Then I want to just mention in your packet, there's a memo on housing rehab. And one of the things that when we started the housing rehab program, one of the things we talked about was the cost to do a rehab. Y'all approved a policy that it would cost $50,000, but you also approved in that policy, but up to $70 per square foot of a home. We have not been going to the $70 per square foot. However, if we were using that number, we could have had a lot more homes rehab by now. The 50,000 has been very difficult in this market to get the houses rehab. So I just wanted to say to you, we need to look at the $70 per square foot in order to be able to get houses renovated. Justin and them been doing a great job. Insight's been doing a great job in getting bidders, but the cost of renovations at this point has been outpacing what the $50,000 number. So we need to use the $70 per square foot number to rehab these homes.
The only thing I can say is as construction costs continue to go up, our impact is going to continue to diminish, which is, again, why I would encourage us to look at trying to find ways to incentivize low-income housing developments, use this money, because, for example, right now you're talking $70 or $50,000 a house. We can do 20 houses with $1 million. You can take $1 million, though, and apply for a grant or put that towards a low-income credit or something like we did with the Julia P. Bryant property, and get a much bigger bang for your buck. I understand what, I really do, I really understand, but I just caution as we're gonna have building in this area for a long time. Costs of building is not going down anytime soon, and might even keep going up. And if that's the case, the money we have is going to shrink rapidly unless we look at more creative ways to have a bigger impact with that money.
Well, and I do want to add this, that staff has been working and looking for ways to be able to extend money. And one of the ways that we've been able to do it, we've been able to get roof grants. The individuals have been able to get roof grants through USDA.
Separately.
But they have to apply for it. We can't apply for it. And the difficulty is, and I hear you, Mr. Boyum, on the tax credit projects, because that's what UUP Prime is. And we've got 2 more of those coming. 3? We got three more of those coming. And I know one is out in the Whitesville area. And so those are good projects for us to do. The difficulty is that we have a lot of people that live in homes, and although we might not be able to do as many, but if we can get these taken care of, that's what we're trying to build, that track record, and try to get DCA to help fund our CDBG and our CHIP program so that we can continue building on that, because those houses aren't going to go away. And so,
Right, yeah, and to that point, I mean, our conversations with DCA about using CDBG funds for housing rehab haven't been as fruitful as what we would like. My understanding is that they have generally been steering us towards the utility grants, and so we're
I'll go ahead and give you this information here. It's talking about coming up in January, you'll likely see us looking at a resolution to apply for CDBG grant, focused mostly on infrastructure and not the housing component, because that's where DCA is basically steering us towards. And so these funds from ARPA have essentially been a godsend for us to be able to focus on what we can, where we can, and try to get something established, get a track record established.
Sure. I mean, and DCA does have, new rural housing initiative money, about $35.7 million will be available next year. So, I mean, that's certainly something, but again, I just want to focus, if we're using it on improving individual homes, that's a one-time expenditure and that money doesn't come back. There are other ways we can do this where we can flip and make money back, or flip and make money back. But just want to caution that our money will continue to dwindle rapidly if we don't find ways to replace it with buying and selling a property.
And also a concern to us as well is we're using ARPA funds, and that clock is ticking on using those funds up. So we're trying to get this money out into the community as quickly as we can at this point.
Yeah, and I think that this is, and I think staff, I think Councilman Boyd, we all understand that this is all of the above type situation. We got to invest into these homes where our citizens have been living in older neighborhoods. We've gone into these communities. We see that the need for neighborhood revitalization is there. But there's also a need, because our population is growing, to go after the same type of funding, for the same type of, for the funding that Councilman Boyd was speaking of as well. But there is a time clock on this. And I do want to remind council, when we first had this conversation, one of the things that I advocated was that we need to do not just revitalization, but rebuilding of homes that were not that were so deteriorated that the cost would more than super exceed where we are now. And so when we go back and revisit this conversation, I really think that we need to have a all hands on deck to address this, because our population is growing, but we do have older neighborhoods with longtime citizens that's been here that need some love and care in their neck of the woods as well. And I do want to add this for food for thought. What we're doing with neighborhood revitalization is that we are extending the life of the homes that our citizens are in. And so if we can get an additional 10 years of longevity in those homes, that really help us to address our housing needs within the community. But again, Councilman Williams right, the staff is right. We have to approach this trying to burn this candle at both ends. But with that being said, if there's nothing else from the manager's comments, we'll move down to public comments. Is there anything else?
I was just gonna say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We gotta move to public comments. We have Charlotte Spells on our agenda, but I don't see her here. And so we want to go straight to agenda item 22.
I had a council comment, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, go ahead, John.
I'm sorry, I wanted to reiterate that Statesboro today is 220 years old today.
Yeah.
December the 19th, 1803, Governor John Millage in the capital city of Louisville signed an act of the Georgia legislature creating the town of Statesboro, B-O-R-O-U-G-H. So he's been spelling it wrong for 220 years, like you said.
Yeah.
Anyway, happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
We just approved a lot of money for our employees, for the people that don't work here, for just the citizens that just live here and drink our water and use the toilet and use the streets. When you go home for the holidays, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, there are not just police and fire that will be on duty. There are gas people who will be at your house as soon as you say you have a gas leak, which happened to me on Christmas Eve one time. It was freezing, and two guys came out. I bet they had 50 years of experience between them. Christmas Eve, they left their families to come fix my gas leak. I can sleep at night. I can celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. knowing that y'all are on duty. Everybody's on call, even Cindy, cut a check. But thank you all, public safety, you guys are always on time. But, City of Statesboro employees, I have the most respect for y'all, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
And those up here.
Thank you. So we'll move down to agenda item 22. Staff, is there a need for executive session? All right, seeing that there's no need for executive session, we'll move down to agenda item number 23, consideration of a motion to adjourn. Councilwoman Mack, do you make that motion?
Yes, so moved.
Is there a second?
Last time.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen.